Well, greetings to the TBM community from a hot, humid and locked down Singapore. My name is John Giddens. I've owned a TBM aircraft for the last 11 years. Currently a TBM 900 aircraft, serial number 1039, the one behind me. Those in the TBM community that I've met before might know that my passion is long distance flying and touring by light aircraft. I've flown the TBM, this TBM and my previous TBM 850 and various other aircraft all over the world, including around the world with my son in 2016. Today I'm coming to you from the Wings Over Asia hangar at Seletar, which is my home base when I'm not travelling, and the GA airport for this island nation, Singapore. I'm recording this on Sunday the 19th of April. This is the Wings Over Asia hangar, which is full, including my TBM 900 aircraft, 3 Kodiaks and a number of other aircraft, and I thought I'd start this little video with a tour of the hangar. Well, here we are outside the Wings Over Asia facility at Seletar, and it's an absolutely gorgeous day. What a shame nobody's flying today. It's 32 degrees, bright sunshine, pretty much clear skies, great flying day, and the airspace is closed because of COVID-19. But because of that, we got quite a lot of visitors here. We've got stuck aeroplanes as well, so TBM 700 visiting from Thailand for maintenance, and now can't get back because if the pilot was to come down here going back to Thailand, he'd have a 14-day quarantine period on arrival back in Thailand, and the pilot from Thailand wouldn't be able to get into Singapore because he'd have to do 14 days quarantine here as well. Those are the kind of problems that we're having to deal with at the moment. So just moving on, just looking at some other airplanes we got around. We've got an Eclipse here. We've got a Westwind jet that does various commercial activities, all of them grounded at the moment. And we've got various piston engine, single engine piston aircraft. We have 6 Cirrus in the fleet at the Wings Over Asia club, and a number of different Diamonds. And at the back of the hangar you can see 2 Kodiaks, both of which having some maintenance done on them at the moment. A lot of people taking the opportunity to do maintenance on their aeroplanes because we can't fly, so a good time to catch up with your outstanding maintenance and annuals. So let's move on to the second hangar here to the side. Here we are in the second hangar. We have a variety of piston engine aircraft, DA-42 there, DA-40 in the front. I have to be a bit careful with choosing my camera angles because some of the owners of the Challenger jets, and we have 2 of them here, don't like their tail numbers being in the video. Behind there's my TBM 900 where we started off earlier on. There's an MU2 behind that, Mitsubishi MU2, and a Cessna Caravan in the corner. Light sport aeroplane in the corner behind that. Cirrus SR-22, we have 6 of those in total. And then the Challenger jet. Behind the Challenger, a Piaggio Avanti, and again I'm being a little bit careful with the camera angle. This beauty, Quest Kodiak on floats, and makes up the total Dia aircraft in our hangar as being 3 Kodiaks, 1 on floats, 2 on wheels, and 2 TBMs, 1 900 and 1 700. Well, I hope you enjoy my little hangar tour. I've moved inside to my office, into the air conditioning to get out of the heat and humidity. I have to say I like to show people around our hangar because there's a persistent rumour that I hear when flying overseas and travelling that either there isn't any GA flying in Singapore, or it's very difficult, or it's very expensive. On the cost side, by comparison with the USA or Australia, yes, for sure, it is more expensive. But cost aside, there's a thriving GA community in this region. We have some very capable aeroplanes in our fleet, as you've seen from the hangar, and we have some very experienced pilots in our community, as well as student pilots and everything in between. On Friday, I received an email from Philippe de Segovia at Daha, asking me to make this video and giving me a list of 10 items that he wanted me to talk about. I'm not exactly sticking to the script, Philip, and my apologies for that, but I think the main things you were asking was what has the coronavirus pandemic done to our flying in Singapore? Well, the first thing to understand is that every flight from Singapore is an international flight. Well, 1 minute after takeoff from Seletar, we're in Malaysian airspace, and Malaysia is a separate country. All the surrounding countries, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Brunei, have restrictions, and if they let you land at all, they require a 14-day quarantine for international arrivals. So that has effectively put a stop to GEA flying in the region. For the time being, the only flying that I'm doing is once a week to burn around the circuit at Seletar with a few touch and goes to stop both the aeroplane and the pilot from getting rusty. I was, regrettably, planning to depart to the USA in May, and I had a full program of flying trips scheduled in the USA through the summer, including a visit to Oshkosh. After that, we were planning to head over to Europe with the family, where we had several trips planned to Portugal, around the Mediterranean, and over to Norway, which is an annual business trip for me, followed by a return eastbound to Singapore in October. Regrettably, all of that has had to be postponed, and hopefully I will pick it up again in next year, 2021. You've probably heard that Singapore was very early to respond to the coronavirus pandemic. Singapore experienced the SARS epidemic from 2002 to 2004, and like some other Southeast Asian countries, learned many lessons from that. So Singapore was extremely well prepared for a worldwide pandemic and has been dealing effectively with COVID-19 since mid-January in the run-up to the Chinese New Year holiday. There's been a rigorous government-led campaign of isolate, test, contact trace, treat. It was very successful in containing the first peak. We had, by the end of March, only around about 150 total cases and no fatalities. But now we are experiencing a second bigger peak with almost 6,000 cases in a population of 5.8 million. It's just under 6,000 today. The government has implemented what they call the circuit breaker, which is in effect a lockdown that will last to the 4th of May and then be reviewed. The good news is that Singapore's relentless isolate, test, contact trace, treat is working, and the healthcare system here is truly excellent. We have had only 11 deaths to date, which is a case fatality rate of well under 1%, so actually 0.2%. I hesitate to say that the end is in sight, but for sure we will emerge the other side before too long. I'm very much hoping that the skies will open again for GA flying in the third quarter, and if they do, I still plan to take my TBM to Europe, although the next USA trip will have to wait until 2021. So if that happens, I still hope to see some other TBM OPA members at the Earthrounders biannual event in Switzerland in September. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little presentation from sunny Singapore. All TBMs are very welcome here at Seletar. We even have a TBM service centre on the airfield if you need it during a long trip. So if you have spare time on your hands during the lockdown period, why not plan your own big flying trip and include a stop here to pay us a visit in Singapore. I wish all TBM OPA members and your families safe passage through these difficult times. Goodbye, and when you're next able, fly safe.